So we can just start with that. We can start with we'll talk about we'll go over Judges 6. We'll read some of that. If anybody in here, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in there. Let's go.
Come.
About Yala. I'm in here rocking with about Yala.
The
Go
book of
ahead.
Judges, also like
Mm-hmm.
the book of Judges, chapter 6, verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hand of a Median of Midian 7 years.
A median, right? Of the Medianites, a median. This is during the time. This is after Deborah. After Deborah and the children of Israel were delivered, they went back to idolatry and worshiping fake gods. And then the Lord allowed for them to be conquered by the Medianites. They were oppressed by, I believe the Medianites are Arabs, right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 2. And the hand of Midian prevailed against Israel. And
Mm-hmm.
because of the Midianites, the children of Israel made them the dens which are in the mountains and caves and strongholds.
Damn. So the Medianites prevailed so hard against the Israelites that we was making our homes in caves and in dens in the mountains, meaning we wasn't even out in the open making our dwellings in, normally in the valleys, on the hilltops. We was in the mountains in caves. That's how hard they was oppressing the Israelites. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 3. And so it was when Israel had sown that the Midianites came up, and the Amalekites and the children of the east, even they came up against them. Verse 4. And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth till
So,
thou.
so it also said the Amalekites came up against them too. So together, and what the people, the children of the east, like different tribes of the east came up against the Israelites, the Midianites, the Amalekites, and different nations from the east. Go ahead.
Come. Verse 4. And they encamped against them and destroyed the increase of the earth till thou come
Mhm.
unto Gaza, and left no sustenance, sustenance for Israel, neither sheep nor ox nor ass. Verse 5. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came up as grasshoppers for a multitude, for both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land and to destroy it.
So all of these people came into the land with all of their people, all of their herds and sheep and all of that, and donkeys, and ate up all of the food from the Israelites, was taking over the land. And they were like, what did it say about how they were like grasshoppers for a multitude, meaning they covered the land. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 6. And Israel was greatly impoverished because of the Midianites, and the children of Israel cried unto the Lord. Verse 7. And it came to
So
pass.
basically impoverished, meaning we was reduced to starvation, and our people cried out to the Lord, like always, like uh the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and the Indians always are crying out to the Lord because we are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. We want to do things our way and we want to do what we want to do. And this is exactly what happened right here. Now we have been brought out of Egypt. The Lord has stretched forth his hand and brought us out of Egypt and delivered us many times and even showed us great wonders and signs, but we still return to our what is it? What our product, our manufacturing uh reset mode. We go back to that time when we was hard-headed every time after a great breakthrough, after the Lord showing us that he is our God, our people would. And it's kind of crazy to think about it, but that just shows you how hard-headed our people are. Like, we see these things that the Lord is doing for us, and we still decide, you know what, I think this God might be better. Or I think I want a wife from these people. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 7. And it came to pass, when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord because of the Midianites, that the
Mm-hmm.
Lord sent a prophet unto the children of Israel, which said unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt, and brought you So like, and brought you forth out of the house of bondage, and I
Mm-hmm.
delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand.
Salakia, that's another precept. That's a good precept. Also, for when you read Deuteronomy 28 and 68, where he talks about us going into Egypt again, meaning house of bondage. This is a good one. What is this? What where were we at when that's verse 8? So Judges 6 and 8,
Come on, Khan.
where Egypt is compared to slavery. Are is it right there?
Khan.
Salakia. Yeah, okay. It's compared to slavery. You know what I mean? And then also Exodus 20 and 1. It basically breaks down Egypt as being the house of bondage. Go ahead.
Come on, Khan. Verse 9, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the
Mm-hmm.
hand of all that oppressed you,
Mm-hmm.
and drave them out before, so I can drave them out from before you, and gave you their land.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10,
Because
and I
there was
said,
already people in the land where we went. There was already what they call them Jebusites and Perizzites, and it was all type of people already in the land of Canaan, the land of Israel. When we went there, that the Lord drove up out of there so that we could have the land. Go ahead.
come on, Khan. So like in verse 10, and I said unto you, I am the Lord your God. Fear not the God of the Amorites, in whose
Mm-hmm.
land ye dwell, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Verse
Mm-hmm.
11, and there came an angel from the Lord and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, that
Mm-hmm.
pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite,
Mm-hmm.
the Abers, Slakia, Abers, Abiezrite, Slakia,
You saying it right.
Slakia, come on, and his son Gideon threshed wheat by the windpress to hide it from the Midianites. Verse
So
12.
damn, so his son Gideon was threshing wheat by the wine press to hide from the Midianites. So he threshing the wheat, meaning the wheat. I had played a video before where I showed you how what threshing the wheat is, but you just separating the grains from the chaff, and you getting the wheat. You know, you getting what you need out of it, and you threshing it with a big shovel, and threshing it in the air. And so he's doing this where he can't be seen because of the Midianites were pressing him so hard. Probably come and snatch all the food. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 12, and the angel of the Lord appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord is with thee, thou mighty man of valor.
The angel came to Gideon and said, "The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor." Right? Just imagine that, brother. And this is not. This is angels will appear as men a lot of times. And a lot of times in the Bible, where you hear that the Lord is talking to someone, they are talking to the Lord is talking through an angel. It's not actually the Lord, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 13, and Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all his miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord hath forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites.
So once again, you don't have a Bible dictionary, do you?
La.
Oh, you don't have one on hand. I believe the Midianites are stock of Ishmaelites. I believe the Midianites, but he's saying, listen, well, if the Lord is with us, why is all this stuff happening to us? This is why is the Midianites oppressing us? The Lord then brought our forefathers up out of Egypt, but why now are we up under the hand of these Ishmaelites or the Midianites? Go ahead, keep reading. Verse 14?
Come on. Verse 14, and the Lord looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hands of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? Verse 15, and he said unto
So the
him,
Lord told him to go in your strength, gird up thy loins like a man, and you will save Israel. You shall save Israel. He's like, haven't I sent you? I'm the Lord, I'm sending you. Go ahead.
okay. Verse 15, and he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house.
So he's saying, look, how am I going to do anything? Look, my family is poor. We are the weakest tribe, and I'm the least in my family. I'm the, you know what I'm saying? I'm the, the youngest in my family. Go ahead.
Verse 16. And the Lord said unto him, Surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite the Midianites as one man. Verse 17. And he said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, then show me a sign that thou talkest with me. Depart not hence, I pray thee, until I come unto thee and bring forth my present, and set it before thee. And he said, I will tarry until thou come again. Verse 19.
Mm-hmm.
And Gideon went in and made ready a kid and unleavened cakes and a ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot, and brought it out unto him under the oak, and
Let me just say
presented it.
this. We skipped over. Well, in 17, he said, "Show me a sign that thou talkest with me." So wanted to Gideon wanted to see a sign that he was talking with the Lord. Verse 18. Read verse 18 again.
Come. Verse 18. Depart not hence, I pray thee, until I
Mm-hmm.
come unto thee and bring forth thy present, and set it.
So Gideon was telling the angel, he was telling him, "Don't leave until I come back and give you an offering. I'm going to go a present." So he's going to make an offering and come back and present it to this angel. Go ahead. Well, where were we at? 20.
Come. Verse 20. And the angel of God said unto him, take the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and lay them upon this rock, and pour out the broth. And he did so.
Mm-hmm.
Then the angel of the Lord put forth the end of the staff that was in his hand, and he touched the flesh and the unleavened cakes, and there rose up fire out of the rock, and consumed the flesh and the unleavened cakes.
So he
Then,
told Gideon to pour out the broth and put the unleavened cakes and the flesh on the rock, and he touched it with the tip of his staff, and it burnt up and disappeared. It was consumed. Keep reading.
Then the angel of the Lord departed out of his sight. And when Gideon perceived that he was an angel of the Lord, Gideon said, Alas, O Lord God, for because I have seen an angel of the Lord face to face. And the Lord said unto him, Peace be unto thee. Fear not, thou shalt not die.
Mm. Keep going.
Then Gideon built an altar there unto the Lord and called it Jehovah Shalom.
Or you could say Yahweh Shalom.
Yahweh Shalom. Unto this day is it yet an Ophrah of the Abiezrites. And it came to pass that the same night, pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, Take thy father's young bullock, even the second bullock of 7 years, and throw down the altar of Baal, and thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it, and build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock, in the ordered place, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down. Then
So
Gideon,
the Lord told him, because see, his father worshiped Baal, right?
right,
Everybody in the city worshiped Baal. And so he said, first of all, he said, knock it down, destroy it, cut it down with the grove, and then built an altar. So, like he says, throw down the altar of Baal that thy father hath, and cut down the grove that is by it. And then he said, use the wood from the grove and burn it for a sacrifice. Keep going.
and build an altar unto the Lord thy God upon the top of this rock, in the ordered place, and take the second bullock and offer a burnt sacrifice with the wood of the grove which thou shalt cut down.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27. Then Gideon took 10 men of his servants, and did as the Lord had said unto him, and so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, that he did it by night.
So he was afraid to do it by day. He decided to do it by night because he was afraid of the men of the city and his father's household, because everybody worshiped this false idol, this god, Baal.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 28. And when the men of the city arose early in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it, and the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. Verse 29.
Mm-hmm.
And they said one to another, Who hath done this thing? And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, hath done this thing. Then the men of the city said unto Joash, Bring out thy son that he may die, because he hath cast down the altar of Baal and because he hath cut down the grove that was by it.
So they wanted to put Gideon to death. They knew right away who had did it. They said, bring your son out so he can die, because he done cut down the altar of Baal. Right? Keep reading. What verse we on? 30.
31.
Okay.
And Joash said unto all that stood against him, will ye plead for Baal? Will ye save him? He
Mm-hmm.
that will plead for him, let him be put to death whilst it is yet morning. If he
Mm-hmm.
be a god, let him plead for himself, because one hath cast down his altar. Verse
Right. So
32.
he's saying, so what he's saying is, why are you defending Baal? Why are you trying to argue the case of your God? Anybody that's trying to fight for this idol, if you're going to fight for him, you're going to be put to death by the end of the morning. You said if your God is a real God, let him defend himself.
Right.
Let him defend him. Like if your God is really, if that statue is really real, let him get up and put himself back together. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 32. Therefore, on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar.
So the man was cut. The man that wanted to put him to death, he cut all the men in the city and his father's house by saying, if this is a real God, then let it plead for itself. Let it fight for itself. And then verse 32, what they call him?
Therefore, on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar.
So from that day he called him Jerubbaal, right? Saying, let him plead for himself. Go ahead.
Come on,
Hey,
verse
that's a
33.
cold cut, though. That's a cold cut. That's like kind of like today, like when brothers, you probably seen it, and I know I'm sure people look at it like it's crazy, but it's really not. But those idols of the Virgin Mary, white Jesus, we be in that camp and brothers having figurines of them, on the ground or hanging off of one of the some of the camp equipment. And you see, and it's crazy because you see a lot of people come and look and put their hand on their mouth as though these are real gods. People really believe these figurines are real gods. Or the picture of white Jesus. I can't tell you how many times at camp people don't walk by and try to sit it up and prop it up, like out of respect. Like, people shouldn't be stepping on this, and we like, nah, put it down, don't touch it. But a lot of people have their belief. Their belief is centered around these things, especially the Christian cross. These things are, brothers and sisters centered their whole life around this, and they're living disgusting, wild lifestyles. Like I've seen women that are prostitutes with Christian crosses around their necks. Seen rappers, Christian crosses around your neck. Drug dealers. The list goes on with the people that look at the Christian cross as though it's a form of protection. Like it's going to protect you, or the rosary bead with the Virgin Mary, as though it's going to protect you, or though you have a certain amount of protection if you wear it, and you feel naked and you have no protection if you don't wear this thing, when it has absolutely no power at all. I just recently had posted that I posted a post on my Facebook. I shared a post. It was talking about why do Christians think Christ, I'm paraphrasing, why do Christians think that Christ liked crosses, being that was the way that he was put to death? Like, why would you think that anyway? But anyway, let's keep going. What verse are we on?
Verse 34, so like verse 33.
Okay. Let me look real quick. Oh, I didn't know that. Quadashi Allah said, hey, Shalom, Officer Madabar 5,000. Tapasar, hey, Shalom. The water. He said it was the son of Abraham and Keturah, Median, Genesis 25:2. Hey, the water for that. I figured they was a heathen nation. I just was not sure. And Keturah was the African. If I'm if I'm correct on that, Keturah was an African woman, right? He says, if I may, sir, the story of Gideon, what Esau tried to mimic the 300 Spartans on. Oh, I don't know that. You asking a question. I'm not for sure. I know the Spartans were real, but I'm not for sure. Hey, Shalom, Lord in Christ. I'm not for sure on that, Quadash Yala. I don't know for sure. I wouldn't be an expert on that. I haven't got to that in studying. I haven't gotten to the Spartans, but it's interesting. Interesting. I believe the Spartan, and it's crazy because I see where the Spartans could have been uh, a Japhite kingdom, like the originals. Of course, Esau he done represented himself as everybody over there, as far as the Greek Isles and the Romans and the Spartans, the Trojans, and all of that. But many of those people, their foundation is from either Japhetic peoples, Hamitic, even what's some Phoenician peoples. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see when we get to that. Look it up. Where we at?
Judges 6:33.
6:33. All right, keep going.
Verse 33. Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites gathered and went over and pitched in the valley of
Wait, say that
Jezreel.
again. You went out. You went out for a second.
Oh, so like, you can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah, it just like went out for a second.
So like, verse 33. Then all the Midianites and the Amalekites and the children of the east were gathered together and went over and pitched in the valley of Jezreel.
So the Midianites and the Amalekites were together. They were confederate together uh, against the Israelites. Go ahead.
Verse 34. But the spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abazir was gathered after him. And he sent
Mhm.
messengers through all Manasseh, who also was gathered after him. And he sent messengers unto Asher and unto Zebulun and unto Naphtali.
It
And
said
then
it said he blew a trumpet and to gather all the men, to gather all the warriors from the different tribes, from Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. Go ahead.
and they came up to meet them. Verse 36. And Gideon said unto God, if thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool on the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know, Salaki, that thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said.
So Gideon wanted he wanted to, how can I say, he wanted to test the Most High again and just asked him, if you truly are with me. He said he's going to put a wool. It said fleece, but like some wool on the floor. And when the morning comes, if the fleece is wet with dew, but the ground around it is dry, he will know that the Lord is with them. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 38. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morning, on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wrinkled the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water.
So so in the morning it was so it was so much dew in the fleece that he was able to wring it like you wring a shirt, and a bowl worth of water came out of it. Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 39. And Gideon said unto God, let not thine anger be hot against me, and I
Mm-hmm.
will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, but this once with the fleece. Let it now be dry only upon the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And
So Gideon said, he said, Lord, please don't be angry with me. Please don't be upset with this last thing I'm gonna ask of you. But can now we do it the opposite way? Can when I wake up, the fleece is dry, but the dew is all the way around on the ground? Go ahead.
verse 40. And God did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on all the ground.
So on his second request, and this is just to ask if the Lord is with him. He's just making sure the Lord is with him. It happened the same. It was done so, meaning the fleece was dry this time instead of being wet, and the ground around it was covered in dew. let's get to let's get to chapter 7.
The book of Judges, chapter 7, verse 1. Then Jerubbaal, who was Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, of Herod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands. Let Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand hath saved me.
So the Lord said to Gideon, he said, it's too many people with you for me to give the Midianites into your hands, because then the people will say they did it. The people will take credit for it because there's so many of y'all. They won't feel that the Lord, this was done by the Lord. They'll feel like with our own hands, we did it. We made it happen. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Now therefore go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And and there returned of the people 20 and 2,000, and there remained 10,000.
So the first thing he said, if there's anybody that's afraid, just go home. Basically, just go home and leave. So 22,000 went home, only leaving what was it? 10,000?
Come on.
Keep going.
Okay. Verse 4. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. Verse 6. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 3,000, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped, I will save you. And
so the men, Salaki, that's my bad. So the men that lapped the water, meaning they got the water in their hand and they drunk, it was only 300 of them. And so the Lord is basically separating, the people that are worthy. He's doing different things to cut down the numbers. And so the men that lapped, right, those are the men that he kept. Let me see. He says, so the men that lapped as a dog, and then the people that got on their knees and sat down upon their knees to drink, he separated them. And so where we at? Verse 6?
Verse 7.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand.
Now, Kodash Allah, I mean, he's only using 300, so I don't know. I can't confirm. Like I said, I don't know that Spartans. I don't know the history, so I can't confirm that. I don't know, the details of the movie, as far as why they named what's the comparison or what it is. But we do see 300 here. These are the men that the Lord said that by these men he will save you. Go ahead.
Come on.
He's talking to Gideon, by these 300 men, I will save you. Right? Go ahead.
And let all the other people go every man unto his place. Verse 8. So the people took victuals in their hands and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel, every man unto his tent, and retained those 300 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley.
So he retained those 300 men. It says they took victuals in their hand and their trumpets, and sent all the rest of Israel back to their tents. So they took food and they took their trumpets. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 9. And it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. But if thou fear to go down, go thou with Phurah thy servant down to the host. Verse 11. And thou shalt hear what they say, and afterward, that so like it shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host.
What verse are we on?
We just finished verse 11. We on verse 12 now.
Okay.
Verse 12. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay among, so like it lay along in the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number, as the
Mm-hmm.
sand by the seaside for multitude.
So they were like like it said, like this, like as the sand by the seaside for a multitude. They covered this valley. They were like grasshoppers. You know how you see those grasshoppers where they can cover the sky. Well, they covered this valley, and their camels also. They were without number. It was so many of them. Go ahead.
Come on, come on. Verse 13. And when Gideon was come, behold, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow and said,
So
behold,
let me just. So they didn't crept down and got by the wall of the army, listening in to the army. They're basically, doing some surveillance on the enemy, and they're listening to the Midianites. They're listening to the army, the host talk. Go ahead.
come on. Verse 13. That's like it. I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of the barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent and smote it that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 14. And his fellow answered and said, this is nothing else, save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel, for into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all the host.
So they were talking amongst themselves about a dream that one of them had. And in this dream, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the army, the host of the Midian, and came into the tent and smote it that it fell and overturned it, destroyed it, right? And another fellow answered and said, this is nothing else except the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, the man of Israel. For into his hand have the Most High delivered Midian and all the host. So Gideon is hearing them say that, and this is giving him the confirmation that the Lord is with him, that the Lord has already given the host, the Midianites, the Amalekites, their army into his hand. Okay,
Right.
go ahead.
Okay. Verse 15. And it was so when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the
Mm-hmm.
interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel and said, arise, for the Lord hath delivered unto your hand the host of Midian.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 16. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put a trumpet in every man's hand, with empty pitchers and lamps within the pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 17. And he said unto them, look on me and do likewise. And behold, when I come to the outside of the camp, and it shall be that as I do, so shall ye do. When I blow with a trumpet, and I all that are with me, then blow you the trumpets also on every side of all the camp, and say, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon.
So he said we're gonna be outside. We're gonna all be separate in these 3 companies, and you're gonna do as I do. I'm gonna blow the trumpet, and you're gonna blow your trumpets, and we're gonna be all around the entire camp, and we're gonna shout. What do you say? The sword of the Lord, and for this is the sword of the Lord and Gideon. Is that what he said? I'm paraphrasing.
Come on, the sword of the Lord and of Gideon.
So they're gonna hear. They're gonna be. Um, all of a sudden they're just going to hear these trumpets and hear this shouting, and the men are saying this, the sword of the Lord and for Gideon. Go ahead. And of
Come on.
Gideon, so like it.
Verse 19. And so Gideon and the 100 men that were with him came unto the outside of the camp in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of the middle watch. And they had but newly set the watch, and they blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers that were in their hands.
So they said they came outside the camp in the beginning of the middle watch. So this is like a shift change. You have your watches. You have in the military, you have people, you watching. Oh, you basically security. You're on Shamar.
Right.
And so kind of like a shift change is because it said at the beginning of the watch. Go ahead.
Oh, come. Verse 20. And the 3 companies blew the trumpets and brake the pitchers, and held the lamps in their left hand and the trumpets in their right hands to
So
blow
they
with.
had lamps in their left hands and trumpets in their right hands. Go ahead.
Come on. To blow with all, and they cried the sword of the Lord and of Gideon.
So they cried out the sword of the Lord and Gideon, meaning not cry like tears coming down your eyes, but holler and yell that, speak with power. Like when we
Right.
go out in camp, you say we cry out, we prophesy, we blow the trumpet, and this is what they did. Go ahead. It's like a
Verse,
war cry.
right.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. And they stood every man in his place round about the camp, and all
Mhm.
the host ran and cried and fled. And verse
So the
20,
army ran. The army ran. Go ahead.
verse 22. And the 300 blew the trumpet, and the Lord set every man sword against his fellow, even
Mm-hmm.
through all the hosts. And the host fled to Beth Shittah and Zererath, and to the border of Abimelech, and to
So the map,
Tabah.
as the army is running, the Israelites is now these men are pulling out their swords and cutting this army down, and they fled. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And the men of Israel gathered themselves together unto Naphtali, and out of Asher, and out of all Manasseh, and pursued after the Midianites. And Gideon sent messengers through all the mountain of Ephraim, saying, Come down against the Midianites, and take before them the waters unto Beth Barah and Jordan.
So
Then
Gideon is calling for other Israelites, sending messengers for other Israelites to come down and get them come down before they get to the waters. Come down and cut them off. Like help us, help your brothers destroy these people who have been oppressing us. They're
right,
fleeing from us. Go ahead.
come on. Then all of them, then all the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and took the waters unto Beth Barah and Jordan. Verse
Mm-hmm.
5. And they took two princes of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew Oreb unto the rock. Oreb and
Uh-huh.
Zeb, Oreb and Zeb they slew at the windpress of Zeb, and
Uh-huh.
pursued Gideon, and brought the heads of Oreb and Zeb to Gideon on the other side of Jordan.
So they caught two of them. They caught two of the princesses of the Midianites, Oreb and Zeb, and they slew them, and they brought their heads to Gideon. Let's go to um 8. Let's get 8.
Uh,
Chapter
so
8.
like I I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is these the two men that are mentioned in the prayers? Make their nobles like Oreb and is these the two men that they're speaking of?
Khan.
Okay,
There's some more in here too.
come on, Khan. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Judges, chapter 8, verse 1. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, Why hast thou served us thus, that thou calledest us not, when thou wentst to fight with the Midianites?
So
And
the
they
so the Ephraimites want to know, why you treat us like that? Why you didn't send for us when you first went out to fight with the Midianites? Go ahead.
come on, when thou wentest to fight with the Midianites, and they did not chide with him sharply. And as he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? Abiezer?
Salakia. Read that again.
Come on. Verse 2. And he said unto them, What have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer?
So he basically compared he compared himself. He compared what he produced to what they produced. Keep going. Verse 3.
Come on. Verse 3. God hath delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, or Reb and Zeb.
Mm-hmm.
What was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their
Right.
anger
So,
was
so what have you done? What have you done in comparison to that? You complaining about why I didn't get at you in the beginning, but what have you produced? What have you done compared to what the Lord just did, this victory with getting Oreb and Zeb, the
right.
commanders of the Midianite army? Go ahead.
Then their anger was abated toward him when he said that.
Then they was cut. He said their anger was abated toward what did he say?
Abated toward him when he had said that.
Yeah, then they was cut. Then they had to swallow real hard and be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 4. And Gideon came to Jordan and passed over he, and the 300 men that were with him faint, yet pursuing them. And he
Mm-hmm.
said unto the men of Succoth, Give, I pray thee, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me. for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zabah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian.
So he's asking the brothers of Succoth to give the men that's with them bread because they're faint and they're pursuing these kings of the Midianites. Go ahead.
And the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zabah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that they should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, therefore, when the Lord had delivered Zabah and Zalmunna into mine
So,
hand.
so like it. So basically, they said, catch them first, and we'll feed you. You don't have them in your hand yet. Have you caught the prince of Zabah and Zamuna yet? When you catch them, we'll give you food for your army. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 7. And Gideon said, therefore, when the Lord hath delivered Zabah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then will I tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and briars.
So Gideon said, okay, no sweat. But once I get them and I come back, I'm going to put you to death. Go ahead.
Shalaki. Verse 8. And he went up thence to Penuel and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower.
So the men of Penuel, they also had the same stance as the men in Succoth, meaning they was like, well, you don't got them yet. We not giving you nothing unless you can show that you done delivered these men. You done caught them. Go ahead.
Come on. Verse 10. Now Zabah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men, all that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east. For
Mm-hmm.
there fell 120,000 men that drew
Damn.
sword.
120,000. They only had 15,000 left. 120,000 had been killed by the Israelites. Go ahead.
And Gideon went up by the way of them and dwelt in tents, so like that dwelt in tents on the east of Nobah and Jogbaha, and
Uh-huh.
smote the host, for the host was secure. And when Zabah
So
and Zalmunna,
so so what it says to Salakia and smote the host. So he destroyed the army, for the army was secure. So he went in a way by surprise, right? He basically went he pulled off a military tactic and hit them while they were secure, while they wasn't expecting an attack. Go ahead.
come on. Verse 11, also like it, verse 12. And when Zabah and Zalmunna fled, he pursued after them and took the two kings of Midian, Zabah and Zalmunna, and discomfited all the hosts. And
Right.
Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from.
So he captured the remaining. He captured Zabah and Zamuna and discomfited all the hosts. He captured the remaining hosts or warriors, the Midianite warriors. Go ahead.
Khan. And Gideon, the son of Joash, returned from battle before the sun was up, and caught a young man of the men of Succoth, and inquired of him. And he described unto him the princes of Succoth, and the elders thereof, even 17 men.
So
And,
they ran on the way back. I guess they ran into a man of Succoth. Remember earlier what he said about that, and they basically inquired about uh um the elders, the officials, and got information on them from this man from Succoth. Go ahead.
Khan. And he came unto the men of Succoth and said, behold, Zabah and Zalmunna, with whom ye did upbraid me, saying, are the hands of Zabah and Zalmunna now in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thy men that are weary? Verse 16. And he took the elders of the city and thorns of the wilderness and briars, and with them he taught the men of Succoth. And
Mm-hmm.
he beat down the tower of Penuel and slew the men of the city. Then said he unto Zabah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they
What verse
answered,
you on?
verse 18.
Mm-hmm. Go
Then
ahead.
said unto him, unto Zabah and Zalmunna, what manner of men were they whom ye slew at Tabor? And they answered, as thou art, so were they. Each one resembled the children of a king.
So he asked, Gideon asked Zabah and Zamuna after he done, he took recompense on the men of Sakaf and Penuel, those cities that did not giving them rations or bread. He then asked the two Midianite kings, what manner were the men that they slew, the Israelites? He said, they said that they were each one resembled the children of a king. They were like him. He says, they said, as thou art, so they were. So they said they were like Gideon. Verse 19.
Come on, come on. And he said, they were my brethren, even the sons of my mother. As the Lord liveth, if ye have saved them alive, I will not slay you.
He said they were my brothers, even the sons of my mother. Right? Go ahead.
Come on, come on. Verse 20. And he said unto Jether, his firstborn, up and slay them. But the youth drew not his sword, for he feared, because he was yet a youth.
So he called unto his son, his firstborn son, to slay them, but he wasn't, he wasn't proven in battle. He could not, he didn't have it in him. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Then Zabah and Zamuna said, rise thou and fall upon us, for as the man is, so is his strength. And Gideon arose and slew Zabah and Zamuna, and took away the ornaments that were on their camels' necks.
So of course he slew him. His son couldn't do it, but he rose up and slew Zabah and Zamuna, and then took the ornaments that were on the camels' necks, like of gold. These are kings that had, were very rich. Okay, keep reading.
Come on, come on. Verse 22. Then the men of Israel said unto Gideon, rule thou over us, both thou and thy son's son also, for thou hast delivered us from the hand of Midian. Verse 23. And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you.
And so Israel wanted to make Gideon a king. They said, rule over us, you and your son and your lineage. And Gideon said, I will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. You understand? Gideon was he was a righteous man, and he only did what he was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That was the job that he was supposed to do, that the Lord gave him. The Lord called him a mighty man of valor. The angel walked up to him and said, mighty man of valor. You know what I'm saying? That's a phrase we use in the UPK.
Right.
But the Israelites, they wanted a ruler, and that's us. That's how we are. We want somebody to rule over us time and time again. Like, you remember, we wanted a king, and we wanted King Saul, and they chose King Saul because he was tall and handsome, made him the king, and he turned out to not be a good king, but that's how we are. We want somebody to look at and to use as as somebody to follow, especially in our wickedness. When you look at how we be wanting, we idolize celebrities, and a lot of Black and Hispanic people pattern their lives off of what they see these celebrities do and how they live, the type of clothes they wear, the lifestyle that they have. It's something that is sickening when it comes to our community, where we try to emulate people that we believe or look at as being on a high stature. Where we at? What verse are we on?
So verse 24.
Let me just, let's go. Well, yeah, we're on verse 24.
Come on.
Okay. Start at 23 again.
Come on. Verse 23.
Uh-huh.
And Gideon said unto them, I will not rule over you, neither shall my son rule over you. The Lord shall rule over you.
Uh-huh.
And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you, that ye would give me every man the earrings of his prey, for they had golden earrings, because they were Ishmaelites.
Right. So it says they were Ishmaelites. So Gideon asked them, he said, I would desire a request of you, that you would give me every man the earrings of his prey, meaning the spoil. Like you got to think of this host of, it was 150,000, what, 120 plus the 15,000,
That's
what,
135.
35, 135,000.
Oh,
You think about all the camels, you think about all of the victuals and the spoil and the gold. And he said, a ear, what did he say? You give me, Salaki,
so like
earrings, because the Ishmaelites wore earrings, right? So he asked for one gold earring from everybody, meaning they probably had more than one, but he asked for one, right? Read it from the top, verse 24.
come. And Gideon said unto them, I would desire a request of you that you would
Mhm.
give me every man the earrings of his prey, for they
Uh-huh.
were holding earrings because they were Ishmaelites.
Okay. Verse 25.
And they answered, we will willingly give them. And they spread a garment and did cast therein every man the earrings of his prey. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold,
Mm.
beside ornaments and
What's a
collars.
thousand? Oh, wait. Say that again. We gotta look this up.
Come.
Gotta look this up.
Say it again. Sorry.
I just want to see how much. I'm gonna look it up. The shekels of gold. Now they laid down a cloak, and everybody started throwing down their gold onto this cloak, like this large blanket. But how many shekels was that? How much gold was that?
Come. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold.
Okay, let me see. Let me see. Okay, so that would have been 350 pounds. That would have been 350 pounds of gold. Let's read it again.
Come. Verse 24.
Good night.
Also, like it, verse 26. And the weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold,
Mm-hmm.
beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was on the kings of the Slakia, on the kings of Midian, and beside the
Purple raiment. Got to read that again.
Khan, and purple raiment that was on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were about their camels' necks.
And besides the chains that were on the camels had gold chains on. The camels had gold chains on. Um, in the purple raiment. Now, in ancient times, first of all, I want you to see that the heathen nations, those kings, they glorified wearing purple. Purple garments was glorified as far as being a symbol of wealth. I believe purple and the color like that what's that real that crimson red, it's a name for it, it's not
Scarlet?
crimson, scarlet, the water scarlet red, and then that purple, because it was hard to get those type of dyes, that color of dye. It was rare to get that color of dye, and that's what made it something that only usually royalty would wear. Usually, not 100 times out of 100, it's a heathen that is wearing this purple robe. Okay, I just want to make that clear that this was not an Israelite thing. Israelites usually wore multiple colors. There was no certain color. Even when the Bible talks about border of blue, you don't see Israelites all wearing blue. You know, everybody was unique in their. We're Israelite. We blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We have flavor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We have our own sense of style, our own sense of, flavor that we have when we dress. And that comes to when you wear a dress or you wear a garment or anything like that. It wasn't just one thing across the board. I just wanted to bring that out. Uh, let's get that again. Verse 26.
Khan. Verse 26. And the
Uh-huh.
weight of the golden earrings that he requested was 1,700 shekels of gold,
Mm-hmm.
beside ornaments and collars and purple raiment that was
Uh-huh.
on the kings of Midian, and beside the chains that were on their that were about their camels' necks.
Right. And
And
I
Gideon,
believe that Daniel, I believe when the king gave Daniel a purple robe and put a gold chain around his neck. Somebody can you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Keep reading.
Verse 27. And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in
Uh-huh.
Ophrah, and all Israel went thither a whoring after, a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house. Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their heads no more, and the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon. And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went
So
and
he Gideon Salaki, I didn't mean to stop interrupt you like that, but I was just looking up something. Salaki. So an ephod is it's a linen apron worn in by the Hebrew priest. It's priestly. It was the garment of the priest, an ephod, right? And like that breastplate, the priest would have the breastplate with the tribes on it that would come over the chest like a gold ephod. Read that from the top again. What he made with it, what Gideon made with it.
Verse 27.
Yes.
And Gideon made an ephod thereof, and put it in his city, even in Ophrah. And all Israel went thither a whoring after it, which thing became a snare unto Gideon and to his house.
Uh-huh.
Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so that they lifted up their hands no more, and the country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon.
So it says he made this ephod and he put it in his city, and Israel started going to this city, whoring after it. What does it mean by whoring after it? What did we start doing? I bought.
Like
Well, let's
Salaki.
just wait. Let's just wait. Somebody in the comments, what did we start? Some of you brothers already know, y'all know, but what did we start doing after Gideon made this priestly garment and he put it in his city? It says we started going up to that city and whoring after it. We started going up to that city and whoring. Adolphus last. No, we didn't look for it. We started worshiping it.
Right.
Brothers was hearing about the greatness of Gideon and how now we're all in peace because of the things he did and how he destroyed a army of 135,000 people with only 300 men. He destroyed an army with 135,000 soldiers with only 300 soldiers. And they're hearing this story and how the Lord was with him. And now they're going to find this ephod in the city, in his city, and go worship it. I'm telling you, if they was to claim, this is just the nature of people. It's not just Israelites. If they was to claim that, and they do have that thing. They say it was the shroud of Turin. It was the thing that was on Jesus's face when he was dead for 3 days, right? And people go worship it. They was to say, we found a garment that Moses actually wore. Fake Israelites would go up to go worship that thing. You have the so-called Jewish man that is worshiping a wall, kissing a wall, and saying prayers to a wall of the old kingdom in Israel today. And all kind of people come, right? But if it was a garment that you heard that was from a actual person that that the Lord was with, people would go up there and they would be worshiping it. They'll forget about the Most High. They'll be worshiping Moses's garment. They'll be worshiping Jeremiah's staff. And this is what our people started doing right here. It said that it became a snare to Gideon and his house. Verse 27.
Come on.
Let's get 28.
Verse 28.
Uh-huh.
Thus was Midian subdued before the children of Israel, so
Uh-huh.
that they lifted up their heads no more. And the
Uh-huh.
country was in quietness 40 years in the days of Gideon.
So so they were oppressed before Gideon was anointed by an angel, by the Lord, a man of valor, to go and destroy the Midianites and the Amalekites and the people of the east, because the Israelites cried out once again, just like in Egypt. They cried out during the time of Judges, and this is after Deborah. They cried out, and Gideon was the man to do the job. And after it was done, the country was quiet, meaning it was peace. Quiet means it was peace. There were no wars. There were no fighting for 40 years in the days of Gideon. Keep reading.
Come on, kind. Verse 29. And Jerubbaal, the son of Joash, went and dwelt in his own house.
Uh-huh.
And Gideon had 60 sons of his body begotten, for he had many wives. And
Uh-huh.
it's like verse 31, and his concubine that was in Shechem, it's like in Shechem, she also bare him a son, whose name she called Abimelech. And Gideon, the son of Joash, died in a good old age, and was buried in the sepulchre of Joash, his father, in Ophrah and the Abarizites. And it
Uh-huh.
came to pass, as soon as Gideon was dead, and the children of Israel turned again and went a whoring after Baalim, and went and made Baal Bereth their god. And the children of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of their enemies on every side.
So the children of Israel, right after Gideon had died, they went back whoring to the old ancient gods, Baalim and Baal Berith. And they forgot what the Lord had did that quick. How soon we forget as a people. How soon we forget what the Lord has done for us. You understand?
Okay.
It's like it's amazing. It's astonishing. And it's astonishing and not the good astonishment. It's the bad astonishment. It's like, how can you overlook this? You are truly the Israelites, because you are hard-headed as hell. You are stubborn just like a donkey. You're as stubborn to your own fault. You would rather do your own thing and find yourself walking straight to your death than to follow the Lord into life. I mean, it just amazes me. Like when you read these things and then you see our people, you can't even be upset, but you can have ultimate confirmation that we are God's chosen people by how we have so many answers to the problems in the Black and Hispanic community, and none of them are actually fixing us. We got Black people that are losing their mind about the election, Kamala or Trump, and who's good for Black and Hispanic people. None of them are good for Black and Hispanic people. The way that the way this system moves and what it pushes and what it professes is against God in many ways. So we could never get to the place where we can fix ourselves if we're going to follow this society. We cannot do that. But we are hard-headed when our people hear the truth. It is like, it is like cancer to your ears. It is like a disease to your ears when you hear brothers speak the truth. Our people are so far away from the Most High that these problems that we see amongst our community, you cannot be surprised. Like, I'm not surprised anymore about what goes on in our community. I love my people, I understand, but I also understand that our people are hard-headed and self-seeking. And
Right.
so just like right here with Gideon, as soon as Gideon was buried with his forefathers, our people turned around and forgot everything that had just happened in the 40 years prior. We have a short memory because just like civil rights. What else? What else? Police brutality. Our people have a short memory, and it has gotten so short. It kind of goes like this. It goes police shooting. We're upset. We're protesting. Holiday. We forget. Elections. Are we going back and forth? Reparations. We going back and forth. Holiday. We forget. How soon we forget. Where we at? Give me 33. No, I'm sorry, 34.
Come on, Kyle. Verse 34. And the children
Uh-huh.
of Israel remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side.
Mm-hmm.
Neither showed they kindness to the house of Jerubbaal, namely Gideon, according to all the goodness which he had showed unto Israel.
They even forgot, they even stopped showing kindness to Gideon's house. First of all, they forgot, they didn't even remember what the Lord did for them on every side, destroyed all their enemies on every side. Then they forgot, they didn't even show no gratitude to the house, to the heritage of Gideon. You understand? How soon we forget. So like, yeah, we're gonna drop that. That's the story of Gideon, man. That's the story of a hardcore brother that the Lord was with. That was that you know, amazing in doing what he was commanded to do. Amazing in doing what he was told to do. Just imagine if we all did what we were told to do as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Right.
Just imagine, like tomorrow, it would be a whole new world. Christ would return in an instant. Like if we all did what we are supposed to do.
Right.
If we all got to the point where we want to know our purpose, where we want to know what the Lord really truly wants us to do. Like I always say, it's going to take for a calamity, COVID 24, it's going to take for something very horrible to happen where our people are on the bad end of the stick and it's known, and they have no choice but to cry out to the Most High. We need to be put in a space where we have no choice but to cry out to the Most High, because how soon we forget. COVID-19 was full of uncertainty and in panic and hysteria, and people were on their best behavior as far as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But it's like that's not enough. We need something that, and I'm not saying I wish anything bad on my people. What I'm saying is like, just look throughout the history, look throughout the biblical history of why our people got to the point where they were actually crying out to the Lord, and the Lord heard their prayers. It's because of somebody was oppressing them. I don't think now we don't believe we even oppressed. We believe that we need to vote. We don't believe the problems that we have has anything to do with the past anymore. And we don't believe that the things that they were doing in the past that they're still doing today. We don't believe that we still have racism today. A lot of Black people just believe like you just need to go to school, you need to work hard, you need to get a degree and stop complaining. That's the mindset of a lot of Black people. General Muhammad brought that out. Was that yesterday he brought that out? Where they was reading an article about taking a survey on white people, asking them whether or not they feel like racism exists. And it was like in 1978, and the majority, like 70% of white people said they don't believe racism exists anymore. And that was in 1978. So that mind frame of there's no more racism, that mind frame has even came over to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, where you got a lot of us that feel that way too, right? you have to get slapped in the face. You have to have a door closed. They have to spell it out for you with the N word with the hard ER now in your face. And so I believe some of y'all are so lost in the sauce, y'all still would not lose faith. You still would not lose faith in good old white America. You know, um, I wanted to bring that video out. I brought it out on Black Authentic Truth. Let me see. Let me see. I brought this story out on Black Authentic Truth, but I wanted to speak about a brother. Earlier this week I got news that the brother Sawap uh uh passed away. I don't know it's not confirmed, but I just want to say that brother was he was a solid brother, strong brother, very very strong brother. um Brother was I mean, what could I say? The brother was solid. Um, yeah, I just want to send my condolences out to his family, to his daughter. This knife Sawap actually gave me. He always kept brother always kept something, whether it was
Right.
a gun or a knife, and he would always try to give me something. You know, but I just want to say, may that brother rise again. Once again, the brother was a strong brother, and I'm gonna miss that brother. So may you rise again.
Right.
Right. So, um, what I want to do. um, let's get my thoughts together. Oh, we can get the Star of David. I had told somebody that it was somebody that asked me that question on Black Authentic Truth about the Star of David. Real quick, we'll just get the Star of David, talk about it. Let's get the precept. Give me one of those precepts. And I think I have a video, or maybe I can just get a picture of a star, right? Picture. Let me see. Well, I did have a video. I don't know where I put it at. So, like, y'all just bear with me. Let me just get it together. Hmm. Hmm. Uh, you can go ahead and start while I'm looking for this video.
Come
Whatever
on, Kyle.
precept you got.
Find a preset.
Okay. No sweat. Hmm. Okay. Let me try this.
So like can you use First Kings 21:8?
Let me hear it.
The book of First Kings, chapter 21, verse 8. So he wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them
Uh-huh.
with his seal, and sent the letter unto the elders,
You,
unto
you
the
can you
nobles.
can hold that note. Salaki, you can hold that.
Come on, Kyle.
You just hold it.
Come on, Kyle.
Can Okay, yeah, just hold that. Um, Salaki. Y'all just bear with me. I'm just trying to get this video. this video real quick. This is why you're supposed to be prepared, man. I did have it. I just don't know where it's at. I thought I moved it to the right file. Okay, there we go. And I made these videos a long time ago. We're going to documents, so I'll know where to find it. Get the one in Acts, if you could. I think it might be in Acts.
All
right. Go ahead.
So
Just let me know when you got it. Slocky. Just let me know.
Salaki, what is it saying, Salaki?
We want the Moloch.
Oh, Salaki, okay.
Also, I was gonna go over like the typical house in ancient Israel. The typical house in ancient Israel was a 4-room house that basically was started being developed in the the 12th century. Probably can pull one of those up. Let me see. So while you do that, I'm see if I can pull up some of these pictures too, because I want to just tap in on that too. What an Israelite at home would look like in ancient Israel.
Come on, Salaki, is it Acts 7:43?
That's perfect.
Come on. Hold it or read it right now.
You could just hold it for right now. Yeah, go ahead and read it now. Go ahead and read it. So like,
Come on. The book of Acts, chapter 7, verse 43.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch and the star of your god Remphan,
Right.
figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
Right. So usually people say that the shield of David is the star of Molech, and this is not necessarily answering the question, because I don't really need to go into no breakdown about the shield of David. Most people already know that, but it was a brother that was asking me specifically on Black Authentic Truth. He was asking me he's saying that the purple cats don't deal with the shield of David. And he asked me, could I just explain what is my understanding to it? And I basically just told him that it is King David's name. That's it. And I'm not going to pull out a lot of precepts. I can do a more in-depth breakdown later on, but the thing that I told him is basically, this represents, it's just symbolism that we wear. It is not the same as when a Christian wears a cross, because we don't believe that it's going to save our life, and we don't believe that we have some kind of mystical protection. Also, when you what I was going to say, it is Salakia. My thoughts is everywhere, but it like I said, it's not nothing that is going to protect us and nothing like that. We wear it because it was King David's signature. It's two dies superimposed on top of one another, and it was a signature. And we wear it because it represents Christ, because Christ is going to sit on the throne of his father David. Okay, and that's it. So I wanted to play this video. So like, yeah. So for people that don't know, for Christians that don't know and don't understand why we wear it, that's really the reason why it does. It's just for symbolism. That's it. Not because we feel that it's going to get our prayers answered faster, that we're going to have some type of special covering when we go out in public and walk around. None of those things. It's not going to stop a bullet. None of those things. We don't believe none of that. It's simply symbolism, symbolizing Christ's rulership, because King David is Christ's father, his great father, great grandfather. 14 generations down. And it's simply that. That's it. So is this why I'm not seeing the video? What is the file? Let's see. Oh, it's a wave file. They're waves. That's why I can't see them. Let me see if it will play. Maybe it'll play. Maybe it won't play. No, it's not going to play them. So like it. So the video format that I save these videos in won't actually play. And that's why I couldn't see them when I was looking for them, because it's looking for MP4s. It's not looking for they're in wave format. I could convert it, but let's just get a picture. We'll get a picture, right? I'll get a picture real quick. Salaki on that too. But when you talk about a star, it is not talking about the shape of a physical star. It is talking about a figurehead. If you could read the precept again.
Come on. The book of Acts chapter 7 verse 43. Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god Remphan.
The tabernacle of Moloch, meaning the religion. Go ahead.
Come on.
I'm looking for this picture. Go ahead.
Figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon.
Right. So, but a star is like not talking about an actual star. We all know what a star look like. And we know what a star looks like when you talk about, being in elementary school, how artists over time have drew stars, how they draw them, right? That's not what the Bible was actually talking about. It is talking about a figurehead of that religion. So Muhammad is the star of Islam. White Jesus is the star of Christianity. Right? That is the type of star it is talking about. Now, when you talk about Moloch, Moloch is not even a shape like that. Moloch was a figurine of a cow with the arms of a man, and at the bottom was an oven. And people would come and put their children in the arms of this statue figurine and sacrifice or burn their children in the fire. Had nothing to do with the shield of David. Didn't even look like the shield of David. So I don't know what people are talking about, but this is something that's been pushed in different circles for a very long time. For years, probably 30, 40 years, that the shield of David is the star of Moloch. It is not, right? It's just King David's name in the ancient Hebrew. That is the clue to solve the riddle that a lot of people that claim that it's something else, that's what they need. They need to be able to understand and see the characters on the ancient Hebrew and see the Dawada, right? They need to be able to do that so they can get an understanding, or they need to be in one of these Hebrew classes that we have every Friday and get that understanding. Now I found a picture. Let me see. We'll save this and maybe we can bring this up. Let me see if I can open this. Oh. So I want to open this. Shalakia. I want to open it. And now I'm going to share this so y'all can see. We branded that. Window. Okay, there we go. So I wonder why it looks like that. Anyway, this is the shield of David. You have the das. These das, these triangles, these are da. Da, wa, well, we read it the opposite direction. Da, wa, da. Superimposed on top of one another. So you put these triangles on top of one another, two das, and you would circle it with a wall around it. I had a good presentation that I did a long time ago. It's just in a different format I could have brought out. But the point is that it's very simple, a very simple explanation for the shield of David that we wear around our necks. Okay. Very simple explanation. I'll bring out the Israelite homes next week. We'll talk about some, how Israelite homes look, the architecture and all of that. I'll do that next week. Is there anything in Olivia Arnold? The triangle is a da. So if you get in Hebrew class on Friday, you'll go over and get you, probably have the brother send you a printout of the Hebrew alphabet. You can connect, put that together and you'll understand. It's just a da. When I say da, I'm saying da, right? King David name in the ancient Hebrew is Dawada. But is there did I ask for any precept? Okay, yeah, give me the other precept too. Give me the other precept you had about the signet. It's also, so King David's signature is like a seal. Like any municipality, they have a seal. Cities have seals. They have like a seal. You have a seal on money, on dollars. You have seals. Companies have seals on their papers that they send out. You might have a little thing in the corner. Well, this was King David's seal or his signature, but if you have got a letter, y'all remember I brought out the clay that you would seal a letter with called boule. Y'all remember I brought that out again, right? I brought that out before, and it was this clay stuff substance that they would impress with a signet with your name, and if it was tampered with, they would know that the letter had been tampered with, but that seal would let them know that this is official business from a certain entity. In this case, it would be official business from King David. Okay. When you see the seal that a police officer has, or that, maybe it's the water company or the gas company or something, they might have a seal for the city or for the government. That they are officially from the government or from the city. Okay. Go ahead. Let me hear that.
Come on. The book of First Kings, chapter 21, verse 8. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal, and sent his letter unto elders, unto the elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling with Naboth.
So she wrote letters in Ahab's name. And who are we talking about? Why is she writing a letter in Ahab's? Are we talking about Jezebel, right?
Okay.
So Jezebel forging letters. But she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed it with what?
And sealed them with his seal.
They sealed it. She sealed it with his seal. And it would have his seal and probably some other symbolism, like I brought out with whose seal was it? It was Hezekiah's seal. Hezekiah's seal had, I believe it had a lion on it. It had a ankh on it. Isaiah's seal said belonging to Isaiah. So this is how it worked in ancient times. You see this in medieval movies. You see it like in, like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. They do all these things, like the brother was bringing out. A lot of these things, as you start to get deep into the Bible, a lot of these things you see in movies and you think they are white European things, these are actual Israelite things. Like wearing a whole night suit and body armor, like wearing chainmail. You think this is a white European thing. These are Israelite things. King David, you know what I'm saying, couldn't put on, who was it? Who's was it? King Saul. He couldn't put on his chainmail. It's too big, too heavy for him to be able to move how he wanted to move when he was going to fight Goliath. But a lot of these things you see are right in the Bible. Right in the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you think it's European because of movies and because of school, what they taught you in school. And it's as black can get. You think about these military strategies that they use in the white man's army. They were using these military strategies in the Bible to defeat enemies, you know? But I'm about to get up out of here. If any brothers and sisters, y'all got any questions, go ahead and shoot. And next week we'll have a more we did go into some history, but next week I'm gonna try to have that prepared. We'll go into Moses, who Moses was in Egypt history, and then we can probably go over the Pharaoh of the Exodus, like just looking at the timeline, looking at the occurrences, using the Bible for a timeline. It takes some time to bring out that type of stuff, but we'll go over that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what else? One more thing. The cookout, right?
Come on,
What is it? The 26th to the 29th?
come on.
26th to the 29th, I.S.U.P.K presents the West Coast Cookout under Commander Jenny YAHANNA. Brothers is going to be coming from everywhere. The heavy hitters as always. We're going to have things, festivities, and everything. I believe a formal itinerary will be put out soon, and I just look forward to camp. Look forward to being at camp. And it's been a heat wave out here, so it's not easy to always go to camp just because of weather. The weather don't permit it. It's not always safe because it'd be hot out there on a regular day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be hot out there. That concrete get hot out here in Southern California. But yeah, so make sure you attend that. Make sure you be there. We look forward to hosting brothers and sisters from different places. And like I said, the itinerary will be coming out soon, right? I know they put out what month for the cookouts? It's this month. Cookout is this month, right? The end of the month. So you got some time. We all got some time to get ready. I got to make some shirts, try to make some shirts. I have some shirts for brothers. And yeah, man. So once again, I'm Precinct Officer Walker Bar. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Damn, I'm mixing it up. Precinct Officer Walker Bar under Commander Jenny YAHANNA under Captain Gadalhar. Rocking with me is Ibad Ya'ala. Rocking with me, Trooper Ibad Ya'ala, as always. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Salute to all of y'all. Shalom, Israel. All right. Hey, listen, I'm gonna play a video. Now let's hope I can find this video. I'm gonna play this video going out. Let's see. Let's hope I can find this video. Where is, see, things just be disappearing, bro. It's an old video, old UPK video. You know what? This might be the same issue I'm having. Salakia. That's crazy. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to convert the formats. But yeah, next week I'll have something for y'all. All right. So I'll just that's what I forgot. That's part of my thing. Let me just go. Let me give y'all shout outs. Hey, Sister Barathanawa, thank you for rocking, being up in class. Sister Olivia Arnold, Sister Kalmaz Boff, daughter of a king, always up in here. Nazama Na Jewel, always up in here. UPK priest Kwadasha Allah, Tapazar slid through. Officer 5000 Madabar. Make sure you subscribe to those UPK channels. See, when I see his name now, I think subscribe to all those UPK channels. UPK Louisiana. Adolphus Last is always up in here, always rocking. And Sister Deandra is up in here, always rocking. Bakar Zarai is up in here. That's right. Rise again, Sawap. Thank you for rocking with me. Abe Williams, Shalom, Lord in Christ. Lord in Christ to you, brother. You done been up in here too. And yeah, that's all of y'all. So Shalom, Israel. I'll be back. We'll be back, and we'll be back with some hard-hitting history.
Right.
Some hard-hitting history. Me and I, Bad Ya Allah. Shalom, Israel. Peace.
Shalom, Lord Christ.
Shalom, Lord Christ.